Hi guys, good evening. It's my favorite topic tonight, which is characteristics of a scalper. So I'm only going to be talking about scalping. So this is going to be useful for people who are currently scalping, who are practicing, and people who don't know about scalping. And in our community, we've talked about it quite a few times now, but I think it's really important to really understand where scalping comes from and why we do it, who wants to be doing it, who doesn't want to be doing it, and just really understanding the mindset behind scalping, because you really have to have certain skill sets and characteristics to really master your scalping. And if that's how you want to become a trader in your career, then you really got to grasp the movements, the dynamics, the momentum, all from the beginning. So you really understand the difference between long-term traders, how they trade, or how scalpers would trade. Okay, so 4 things that I'm going to look at today. Number 1 is the dynamic and momentum of scalpers before a trade and during a trade. Okay, number 2, we're going to look at how scalpers work on a live account and on funded accounts. Okay, because there are slight differences, and that's being because of the terms and conditions that funded accounts usually have. So I'm going to take you through that. The third thing is my strategy executed. Sorry, not my strategy, your strategy executed, which will include my tips and a look into how I am as a scalper and what I do with my mindset and emotional management on that one. And the other thing, the 4th thing, is the average times to scalp. So you might be questioning, if I scalp, then how long should I be holding trades for? And so I'm going to run through that with you as well. Right, guys. So number 1, which was dynamic and momentum, or speed, if you want to call it, of a scalper pre-trade and during trade. The reason why this is important to know for yourself is because you need to understand whether you are capable of being a scalper, whether you actually have the skill set and the right mind frame and the right emotional stability to scalp, because scalping is very dynamic, it's very fast. You want to have the feeling of becoming a sniper when you are live in the field trading. Yeah, so this is how I see. I mean, personally, scalping is my favorite. I love to scalp. You guys probably know that I'm not a full-time trader. I class myself as a part-time trader. And whatever I do outside of trading, that is my sole purpose in life. Trading just adds to that, okay? So what I want to do is I want to get into trading, but I want to come out of it and just let it be for the day, so then I can focus on the things that I really want to focus on throughout my days. So if that isn't for you, then please don't scalp. If you feel like that scalping is too dynamic, too volatile in the moment, that it's too fast, and because we have to focus in and take profit quickly, if you feel like that dynamic doesn't really suit with your routine, with your lifestyle, with your schedule. Let's say, for example, you need to put a trade on, but now you've got to get to your 9-to-5 job. Do you have time to check if your scalping trade has gone effectively over the last 5 minutes or even 2 minutes? You have to understand that scalping is dynamic. Remember, it's fast paced, it's understanding how to get in and understanding how to get out. So if that kind of momentum and speed isn't for you, please don't scalp. If you feel like you have that inside of you, you've got that sniper effect, like I do, I want to get in and I want to get out and master those entries, then keep listening. All right. So pre-trade, we are looking for precise places to enter and exit, okay? And how you do this and what you are calculating, I do not tell you what to do. I'm just here allowing you to understand and absorb the knowledge of the mindset for being a scalper, okay? So you're looking at precise areas where you feel you can go in and out in a certain amount of time and space. All right. You might feel that you can scalp multiple times for the day. You might feel that one scalp for the day is enough. It really depends on how you manage your risk, what you're aim for in terms of your target for the end of the day and for the end of the week, let's say. So really take into consideration, do you have short amount of time and basically full performance in that short of space? Or do you prefer just to leave a trade on and let it go, so then you don't need to think about it, and then you can have a look at it now and again? Yeah, more softer pace and more softer touch, if you want to call it that. And during the trade, you are watching live in the field, okay? When you're scalping, you don't just put a trade on and walk off and forget about it. No, you are in the field watching it and making precise decisions as you're going on, because sometimes things can change and you might need to tap out quicker than you want. So having that time to be live in the field is important. You need to be watching your trade and you need to know exactly where you want to come out. Or you might, like I say, might want to come out earlier because the trade, you feel like it's not going correctly for you. So know that you need that time to be watching that trade, okay? That is it for the dynamic and the speed and momentum. Remember, you're fast paced, you're a sniper, and you just got to have the eye to get in and get out, all right? Number 2, scalping on a live account and funded account. So the difference between this, number 1, with your live account, there are no limitations for how long you leave a trade running. Okay, so if, for example, you pop a trade on, a scalp trade, and it goes into profit, okay? Scalp trading is all about taking profit whenever you see it. It can have a target, but ideally, you just want to take a profit and get out of there quick, all right? So in your live account, you can put on a trade on. If it goes into profit, you're 15 seconds in, get out. And if that's how you want to deal with that trade, then absolutely fine, perfect. Now, on a funded account, this is not going to work because most of the funded accounts will have a minimum requirement of 2 minutes to hold a trade for. Now, if you don't hold that trade for more than 2 minutes, then there's a potential soft breach, which means that those trades won't count. It might mean that, for example, if you're in a funded challenge, which I don't think, some of them don't actually require you to hold for a minimum of 2 minutes during the challenges. But let's say if they do, if you come across a prop firm that has these requirements, that has these limitations, and you have to be so careful, because it might mean you get to the end of phase 1, you feel like you're going to pass because you've got there, but there were soft breaches and they'll bring you back to the beginning of the phase 1. Don't take my word for this. These are only the things that I've seen and heard and have experienced myself from different prop firms, which is why it's really important that you stick with the recommended ones that we give to you. And if you do go out and look for your own prop firm independently, make sure that you are reading their rules and regulations so you don't get caught in that trap of scalping, all right? I know that with funded accounts, some of them, especially around the news, you have to make sure that you're holding a trade for maybe 4 minutes instead of 2 minutes. So please make sure that you read all the terms and conditions for the prop firms that you're in. Everyone is very different. Now, just to kind of support what I'm saying, when you are in a trade, and let's say if you are on a funded account with a minimum requirement of 2 minutes to hold a trade, then you need to be understanding a little bit better of your entry, okay? So you know that sometimes we go into profit, especially with gold, we go into profit and then all of a sudden it goes back into a loss, but like a really big loss. And then it might creep back up to entry and then go into further big profit. It's very volatile, okay? So make sure that your risk is on point. Make sure that your SL is there. And make sure that if you are scalping for a minimum of 2 minutes, it might be a potential thing that you might see that your trade will go for a minute and a half into profit, and then just before that 2 minutes it goes down into a loss, and then now you want to hold longer because you want it to go back into profit. So that will require you to look for better entries, for entries that have more likability of profit and that you can hold for that amount of time. Now, if you're doing a live account, if you've got your own account, your own money, there's no rules when it comes to that, which means if a trade goes for 10 seconds and it goes into profit and you want to tap out, perfect. Don't forget as well, when you are on a shorter trade, remember to count for spreads, okay? Money will be taken for spreads. So make sure that if it's a quick, small profit, that it's not too small profit that basically the spreads will cover and then actually end up with a loss, because that's happened to me quite a few times before, especially when, you know, you might get a good profit and then it goes back down to quick entry, and then you decide I'm going to get out of that trade and it actually ends up in a loss because of the spread. So be mindful of all these small little things that actually accumulate and become quite potentially a big hazard when you are trading, especially on a funded account. Right, so I did mention the fourth and final thing that I was going to talk about was the average time of holding trades as a scalper, but I'm going to bring it to number 3, just so then it supports the last topic that we just spoke about. And average time holding trades as a scalper really depends on you guys. Like I said, some trades might go in for seconds. If you're on a live account, your own balance, then perfect. Tap out of that trade when you want. If it is on a funded account, you're going to be holding for a minimum of 2 minutes. And that is depending on the prop firm, so make sure you read the rules and regulations. But really, scalping can be from anything from 1 second to 15 minutes per se. That's how we're going to kind of look at our scalping. Some trades might take a little bit of time to get to where it wants to get to, where you want it to get to. And that might take a further 5, 10, 15 minutes. So when you are looking for your scalping opportunities, make sure that you look at all the time frames that work for you, all right? So I like to start off with my day understanding where the trade most likely is going. So if it looks like an uptrend for most of the day, then my scalpings are going to be more of buys for that day. If now another day that it looks like it's a downtrend throughout the day, when we're looking at higher time frames, then I'm going to be trying to keep sells going on throughout the day in my scalping. Now, that might not work for you. Some of you guys might enjoy reversals. So make sure that you're scalping in the way that works for you and practice. Remember, the demo's there for a reason. All right. So anything really, like I said, between 1 second and 15 minutes is a scalper's kind of vibe. My vibe now is, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. I have said this to you guys in the group before. I don't like to hold trades longer than 30 minutes. And the reason why is because my consciousness of emotions start playing up around the 30-minute. I have held trades on longer, especially when I've forgotten about them, and they have gone both ways, in incredible ways and in not so great ways. And I've just found that my rhythm really works between the 5 and 10 minute kind of average time. And that when it gets to 30 minutes, I start almost thinking too much about the trade. It doesn't mean that my emotions aren't managed, because that is my peak of where I start to really manage the emotions. Okay. Doesn't matter if I'm a mindset coach. Everyone will always experience some kind of emotion somewhere. The key aspect of the emotion and mindset is how you manage it. It's how you function in the live environment and how you manage those emotions. All right. So if you feel emotions and, you know, you're calm on the outside but screaming on the inside, remember, you're not alone. Everyone is experiencing this at some point. Okay. So choose what works for you guys. I've obviously been trading for a few years now, so I'm able to understand when I peak and when I don't peak in terms of my master abilities and also my emotions. All right. I hope that helps you guys. Now, the fourth thing that I wanted to mention is your strategy executed. Now, the reason why I've called this actually because I'm actually going to give you some tips of my own experience within trading as a scalper. And just to add some things, just to add some flavor and some color to your own strategy, okay? So number one, when it comes to scalping, what you don't want to do is have too many things going on. So if you have certain tools to use, your RSI, your EMAs, your support and resistance, make sure that you don't have too many things, okay? Because as a scalper, what you're doing is tunnel vision. So you've got the picture, you understand the day that it's an uptrend or a downtrend, And then what you want to do is start minimizing everything, okay? And you start going to lower time frames and you blow the lower time frames up and you start looking for the things that are going to help you become profitable. So your tools and your golden rules, yeah? Your 3 golden rules, don't forget. All right, we want to make sure that we don't have too much going on, because then what will happen is that we'll see too many opportunities, but they might not be aligning to the scalping version that you want to be, that you want to take, that you want to practice. All right, so make sure that whatever you do, that you stick to those few things. You blow them up, you zoom in, so you're really tunneling your vision when you're looking at the chart. And that way, then you master your sniper abilities and know when to enter and when to exit your trades. Okay, so make sure that you understand that you don't want too much. You want to make it little and you want to bolden the smaller detail, okay? And when you got that, then you're going to get into the right rhythm, into the right dynamic, into the right momentum of a scalping trade. Number 2, this is really important. So when you're scalping, a lot of people have asked in the group, you know, what time frame should I be looking at? Should I be looking at the 1, the 3, the 5, the 10? You know, there's so many time frames that we can look at. And my biggest recommendation is to have more than one screen open. So when I scalp, I love to have, I've got 2 screens. I've got my laptop, and then I have a screen extra that I attach to the laptop. So then I'm able to play around with the 15 minutes and the 5 minute at the same time. Now, when I'm in a trade, that will then go from a 5 minute and a 1 minute. Okay, that is just my way of trading. I love to have both screens. Like I said, when you're a sniper, you want to make sure that you are watching everything right with that tunnel vision and you're right live in the moment dynamically, okay? The other thing I like to do is have my MT5 on one side, and I may have another screen because I have 2 phones, which means I do have the ability to actually have 4 screens open, 4 time frames open. So remember, this is totally up to you, but I really, really do recommend having an extra screen. And that way you can master you becoming a lot faster in your trades, that you don't have to keep skipping all the time frames on one device. Because what will happen, guys, is one device will say you're up $10, the other device will say you're down $50, and then you go back and now you're at entry. Okay, every second counts. So if you can have more than one screen available, please do so, guys. And my extra screen is perfect. It just allows me to copy the screen over and have them sitting at my desk at the same time with my phone, all right, with the MT5 open. And there you have it. I am ready to trade as a scalper. The other thing that I want to lastly mention is make sure that you really understand that if you're scalping and you want to tighten your risk or you want to tighten your SL, it might hit SL quicker than you think, okay? But that's fine, because the more you master your entries, the more you get more into profit and the less you get to an SL. So even if you tighten everything because you want to hit TP quicker, or you don't want to lose too much in a short space of time, that's absolutely fine. If you get into a trade and 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, 2 minutes in, it hits SL and you feel like all that work is all gone for nothing, honestly, please don't worry about that, okay? If you're dynamic and want to be that fast-paced scalper, then you also have to remember it's not going to be slow to the SL unless you have a wide SL and a very small risk. But if you want higher profit and you're working with higher risk for whatever reason that you've chosen, then remember when it does hit SL that it might be quicker and it might be a lot. So make sure you find the right tools and abundant, inclusive tools all in one that work for you, okay? I really hope this video has helped, guys. I know it's longer than usual. If you guys ever want to speak to me about scalping and how to progress and develop as a scalper, please let me know. My favorite topic. I love being a sniper, and I really hope that you guys are able to also become your mastery scalper as well. Fast-paced person. Okay, guys, thank you. And we will catch up soon. Bye, guys.